If you're feeling blocked with your spiritual gifts, I'm going to explain how I helped a client through this and her inner children and help her open up her channels. So this client was also feeling blocked, and so we went into her consciousness and actually spoke with one of her inner children, and we found out that that child specifically had seen into a different dimensional space and a past life. And I said, yeah, sometimes when you're a very intuitive child, empathic child, you can actually perceive into different frequencies and dimensions, and you can see things that other people can't see because your creativity is much more open in your imagination and just perceivability all around. And that's kind of scary when you're a child, especially maybe if you grew up in like a religious household or you didn't have anybody to talk to. Like, who do you say that to? Like, they don't have tools and resources to help you with it either. So sometimes you will shut it down because you just don't understand, or it's scary. So her inner child specifically had seen a past life in her own Akashic records that scared her and made her shut it down. We helped her through that and to realize, hey, you're not stuck in that time and space anymore. And that is what happens with your inner children sometimes, not just with your spiritual gifts being blocked, but them actually thinking trauma is still happening to them. It's what I call energetic timestamps. And that's where behavioral patterns come from and triggers, because they think that pain is still happening. But what it actually is they're looking at a memory. They think that it's happening in real time, but what we need to do is come in and remove them from that timestamp and shift them into the new timeline that you're currently living in as an adult. So the same client reached out to me the other day and was like, hey, I was actually driving on the highway and I had this memory pop up from when I was a younger child, and I saw like an entity, a being, and there was a lot more dynamics to that. But it scared her very bad, and it scared her parent as well with her telling her about it. And I said, okay, sometimes we don't need to necessarily dig through the trauma with the child, because that can be even more triggering, and there'll be future time and space to do that. What we need to do is create safety for them and to explain like, hey, I know that happened to you and I'm so incredibly sorry, but I want you to know, as the higher self, the guardian, the protector, that I'm here, and let me show you that that's just a memory, that it's not happening to you in real time. It's almost like they're in the movie and you need to actually pull them out so they can see that they can watch the movie. That is how you can absolve trauma in your Akashic records without having to actually dig through it. And there's a time and place where sometimes you do need to dig through it and talk through things depending on what you've gone through, grown through. But sometimes it's just, hey, you're safe. I love you. That was in the past. It's not actually happening right now. When we originally met with the first inner child, because they felt safe and secure within, and that magic is not scary and it doesn't have to be this traumatic thing, it opened up the window for her to be able to hear other inner children with memories that she didn't know about or had forgotten about, or they had repressed. And I explained to her, like, yeah, that's the other side of the coin. When you start to open up your channeling abilities and connecting with your inner children, is they will show you things that sometimes are like scary, or they'll show you things that they need help and support with. But on the flip side of that, there's probably tons of whimsical, magical experience that you've also had that they're hiding and suppressing because they just see childhood as a whole is traumatic, and so they'll sometimes repress the good ones. And so there's a balance that comes with doing these things.